I would think that Is It Phoenix, Rakdos Prowess, and Rakdos Demons are sort of like going to be the most represented decks at the tournament. They've been really successful. They're rock solid, two-color decks, strong game plans in themselves, great sideboards, great tools. I also wouldn't be surprised to see some Celestia Company, the Enigmatic Incarnation deck. In Europe, there's also usually a little bit of an overrepresentation of blue-white control. There's just a lot of people that love that type of archetype, and yeah, so those six decks, I suppose, I would expect and to be making up a big share of the metagame.
Let me tell you three decks that are under my radar for this weekend. First of all, not an easy choice because there are so many different decks that are viable in Pioneer right now, but for that same reason, my first choice has to be Is It Phoenix. Is It Phoenix has been in the meta for a long time, and I feel like when there are so many different decks, having experience with a deck can be a big advantage, and there's a lot of experienced Phoenix players, and that can lead not only to great plays, but also great results. Another deck under my radar is Mono Black Demons. That deck is quite new, so I'm excited to see how it performs here in the meta. It's also a very interesting deck. And last but not least, Jund Sacrifice. I've always been a big fan of sacrifice strategies, but they haven't been doing too well in Pioneer lately, except last weekend on the South American Regional Championships, where the deck performed quite well. So I'm curious to see if some players will bring the inspiration here for these European Regional Championships and bring the deck and also do amazing with it.
So the nice thing about Pioneer is that there is a lot of viable decks right now and a different type of deck for every player. If you like to play control, you can play Azorius. If you like to play mid-range, you can play Jump Sacrifice. You can play some of the Rakdos variants. You can play Is It Phoenix. If you like to play combo, you can play Lotus Field or Greasefang. If you like to play aggressive decks, you can play Celestia Company. So right now, I wouldn't say there is one deck that I'm expecting to particularly crush this weekend. It's mostly a combination of uh, a lot of different decks that really reward a lot of preparation and experience with the deck. So I'm expecting the good players that are going to dedicate the time to practice with their deck to just show up with whatever they enjoy playing the most and do a good job of winning rounds in the tournament.
Well, to answer that, it's best to look at the previous 5 regional championships, which were held over the past few weekends in Japan, China, Taipei, Singapore, and Chile. Now, at those events, the most popular archetypes were Izzet Phoenix, Rakdos Prowess, Celestia Company, and Mono Black Demons. And amongst those, Mono Black Demons had an amazing 57% match win rate, which was the highest of all major archetypes. Unholy Annex really is one heck of a card, and the combo of Unstoppable Slasher plus Bloodletter of Eclosots can just reduce the opponent's life total to 0 in a single attack. Now, the finals of the regional championship for Japan and Korea featured two nearly identical such Mono Black Demons decks, and I expect such a deck to make a big impact in Lille as well.
I'm definitely expecting Phoenix to be the most played deck and to do decently well. But there's just a ton of really cool and good decks in Pioneer right now. The meta's pretty diverse. So it's really hard to predict, honestly.